Ethiopia is an ancient nation that proudly boasts a history that spans millennia. Situated in the Horn of Africa, Ethiopia is one of the oldest nations in the world, with a rich history that is both unique and impressive. Ethiopia is the land where coffee was first discovered. The coffee ceremony is now an integral part of Ethiopian culture and society. Approximately 90% of Africa's mountains are found in Ethiopia, making the nation a natural fortress where highlands and high elevation have produced some of the most resilient people on the planet. Amharic is the national language of Ethiopia and is the second most widely spoken Semitic language in the world. Amharic also uses its own indigenous writing system, derived from the ancient Semitic language of Ge'ez, a writing system which is still used by the entire nation to this day. The Nile, one of the most life-sustaining rivers in the world, finds its origins at Lake Tana in Ethiopia's Gojam province. Ethiopia is also one of the oldest Christian nations in the world, declaring it a state religion in the 4th century, making the Ethiopian Orthodox Church a pillar of Ethiopian society, along with the Ethiopian Bible regarded as the most complete Bible in existence today. The first Islamic migration was also made to the ancient lands of Ethiopia, where asylum and protection was provided to the early Muslims. Thus, Islam was embraced during its early stages by the Ethiopian people, making them some of the earliest Muslim converts. Ethiopia is the birthplace of Makda, the fabled Queen of Sheba, a nation where the Solomonic dynasty of Ethiopian emperors reigned supreme for centuries, establishing powerful kingdoms that dominated trade and commerce in the Horn of Africa. Emperors such as Menelik II, who unified the nation in the late 1800s, leading an army of over 100,000 warriors north to face the invading Italian colonial army. The resulting campaign culminating in the decimation of the Italian colonial army at the infamous Battle of Adwa on March 1st, 1896, where Ethiopia retained its status as a sovereign and free nation. Ethiopia thus made history as the only African country to remain independent and free from colonialism. Many African nations adopted the green, yellow, and red tricolors of the Ethiopian flag, as Ethiopia became a symbol of strength, pride, resilience, and freedom. A resiliency and pride that has been passed on to future generations of Ethiopians to this day. Our generation is no exception. I, like many Ethiopians, grew up hearing stories of bravery and perseverance about our emperors and warriors from my parents. I was taught to love my country and my people, and to be proud of what our ancestors have accomplished throughout history. Growing up abroad, I have always hoped to contribute to the betterment of my country and people through the skills I have developed in academia. Thankfully, the time has come to return to my motherland and give back to my people using my own 2 hands.
So my name is Elshadai Getinnet. I am a doctor of dental surgery. I am a first-year graduate, so I just finished. So I was actually born in Kenya. I was born in a refugee camp there, and I grew up there for about 5 to 6 years, and then the Canadian government sponsored my family to come to Canada. So when I was, I think around 19, 20 years old, my dentist, Dr. Dubiensky, he always would go to Ethiopia and do volunteer trips. And that summer, I didn't really know what I wanted to do with my future career. And he told me, why don't you come volunteer with me and you can see what I do. I go to Ethiopia all the time. I've never been to Ethiopia at that time. It was my first time ever seeing my country. So I said, you know what, why not? This sounds like a great opportunity, let me go. Got on a plane, it was the summer of 2013. And we landed and we went straight to the rural areas. And I got to see someone using his own 2 hands to heal another human being. I made, 3 promises to myself. I said, I'm gonna be a dentist. I'm gonna go to the University of Melbourne, just because I had a few friends that were studying there. And then I said, I'm not coming back to Ethiopia until I'm a dentist myself. And then 10 years later, on the dot, here we are, first year out, rookie dentist, and true to my word, true to my promise, I'm back home volunteering now in my country.
We're a medical team, we're a dental team, we're an eye surgery team, and we're going to be here until Friday for about a week, and that they should come and see us if they have any issues, and that they would tell everybody around their area that we're here, so more people can know about it, and with their families, their friends, so we can really maximize our effect while we are out here.
As soon as we got there, on day one, we see a big lineup of people. They're just really excited for us to be there. And even before I even get inside the clinic, or we even get inside the clinic, they're already asking me, my tooth is in pain, they're showing me.
So we have some ibuprofen, we have some extra strength acetaminophen, we have some antibiotics, so amoxicillin, just in case we need to prescribe something post-op, there's some infections, things like that, we need to know what we're doing. And over here, we got a bunch of forceps, we have some elevators, we have some root picks, we have some periosteal elevators, we also have some great forceps, the physics forceps in particular. I love these really, really help, particularly if there is a difficult distraction, not a lot of tooth structure left, so this is excellent. Oh, okay. And then over here we have our local anesthetics, we have that set up. We have our sterilization area here, so we're doing chemical sterilization of the liquids here. And we're just getting the dental students that are accompanying us from Atlas University to come in and see what we do, teach them a couple of things. And honestly, this is a two-way street. A lot of people think you're the dentist coming in from another country, you're going to teach them. No, there's things that we can learn from them as well, which is amazing.
ከዛ በኋላ እዚህ ውስጥ አስገባለሁ። ይሄ ወደ ላይ ይላል። እንደዚህ ይዟለሁ። like I said ቴንሽን ብቻ ነው የሚያስፈልገው። ቴንሽን ይሄ የኃይል ነገር አይደለም። የቴንሽን ብቻ ነው። ቀስ 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 ይሄድኩ ወደ ላይ እና ካልተነቃነቀ እንደዚህ ይዤው እቆማለሁ። maybe 1 minute እስኪሰበር ድረስ ያቺን ቃል እስከሰራ ድረስ ያ ሲደረግ አይነው ነው ሌላ ፈርሶ ፖዚሽን ወደዚህ ያረጋግጥ ነው ኦልሬዲ ይሄኛው ወደዚህ ማለት ነው። ከዛ በኋላ ወደዚህ ወደዛ
My name is Dr. Ralph Dubiansky, and I am a dentist as well as being international director of an NGO called HopEthiopia. The first time I came to Ethiopia was actually in 2008. I came with 3 people, myself, an Ethiopian called Malaku Kasai, who's actually the real vision holder originally of HopEthiopia, and another engineer called Wayne King. The 3 of us came, and we were absolutely astounded, fascinated by this unique country that both Wayne and myself knew nothing about, but we certainly fell in love with it.
Ralph, can I just get a quick double check with this?
Yeah.
We're doing the 17X, so I'm about to just go in. However, it's the 16 that's supra erupted. Are we still good with the 17 to take out?
Well, the 17 is the one that's super erupted, right?
ትንሽ ወደ እኔ Some of these people have traveled 40 kilometers to come see us because they found out that there's a dentist or a group of dentists and medical care professionals that are going to be coming to see them. We had people traveling 2 to 4 hours by foot just to line up, and sometimes they wouldn't even be seen, which just shows you how much of a need and a demand there was.
My name is Karen Keats, and I am an emergency physician. I went to medical school in my home province of Newfoundland. I was inspired to volunteer in Ethiopia because I've had a long, satisfactory, rewarding career in emergency medicine. There is no doubt that I practice in a very resource-rich environment, and as I became more established in my career, I realized that this was such a blessing and not The rest of the world is not quite like that. The most common ailments that I've come across so far in the clinic is a lot of chronic complaints. Things like respiratory issues, head and neck problems, visual problems, dental problems.
It says 2627 exo, but it looks like the bottom teeth are the ones that are.
Is she pointing?
It says 2627.
Is she pointing to?
She's pointing the bottom teeth, yeah.
Clearly the 363.
Okay, done.
Yeah.
Done.
Change it on there with the kid.
Okay, well, I'm gonna have to just do this with a block then. Okay.
Absolutely.
Day one was a little bit chaotic, you know. It was like we're figuring out how to do things, what the system is. Ralph, Dr. Dubiensky, he will triage the patients. He lets us know exactly what tooth needs to be pulled out. Obviously, we double check and we do our due diligence, but essentially what we do when a patient comes in is they have a cue card. They've already been triaged. It tells us their name, their age, their sex, and then it tells us which tooth needs to be pulled out. For example, this one says the 2.5 needs to be exoed. So we know that the 2.5 needs to be extracted. I put on my gloves, my glasses, I take a look, and then we go ahead and take the tooth out. Difficult patient cases that you have to deal with, whether it's strong bones, dense bones, a lot of broken down teeth, retained roots, knowing which instruments work best for certain situations, because we're so limited in terms of our resources. How since you don't have suction, they have to bend over, spit into the cup, how to clean things up so you can see better. All that was just a big learning curve.
ስሜ ጽዮን ይባላል። ፕሮፌሽኔ ዴንታል ተማሪ ነኝ። ከአትላስ ሄልዝ ሳይንስ ኮሌጅ ነው የመጣሁት። የመጨረሻ ዓመት ኢንተርንሺፕን እየሰራው ነው። አንደኛው ቋንቋ በጣም ቻሌንጅ አድርጎን ነበረ። ለመግባባት በአስተርጓሚ ምናምን እንትን ስንል የነበረው ፕላስ የምንላቸውን ነገር አይቀበሉትም። የሆነ ኢቭን እያስጨነቀኝ ነበር። ሄደው ያልናቸውን ነገር ያረጉታል። እሱ ነገር እንትን ብሎኝ ነበረ። ቋንቋ በጣም ቻሌንጂንግ ነበር።
Good job, honey.
Go with Ambassa.
Can you bring it more? That way a bit more? Or no?
Okay.
Yeah. Just twist side to side a bit.
I might need some different types of forceps.
Which one? Squeeze hard.
I don't know.
I have anteriors over here.
Yeah, let me get those.
You want the anterior one?
Actually, let me get this one first.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
And then you want the anterior ones that I have over
Yes,
there?
please.
Retry.
I get the PFI.
Yep.
Thank you.
I got too many.
Thank you.
Straight one?
Oh yeah, straight. Thank you.
Yeah.
በቃ አንበሳ አይደለሽ? አይሻታዊ ያለቀች። እሺ ጎበዝ። ሙሉ ዓለም ይኸውና እናት አጨራቀላ ያለቀሽ። ክፈችልኝ ትንሽ። አዎ እና ንከሽው የኛው። አዎ ደሙ እንዲቆም። በቃ የኔ አንበሳ ጎበዝ ነሽ። እሺ በቃ እሺ። አሁን መድኃኒት እናመጣልሻለን። ህመም ካለ ያችን መድኃኒት ትወስጃለሽ። ይሄ ጥርስ መፋቂያ ነው።
ስሜ ነስሩዲን ኡመር ይባላል። የመጣሁት ከአትላስ ጤና ሳይንስ ኮሌጅ ነው። የአትላስ ጤና ሳይንስ ኮሌጅ የሬጅስትራል ኃላፊ፣ የሲፒዲ ኃላፊ እና የዴንታል ቴራፒስት ባለሙያ ነኝ። ትልቁ ቻሌንጅ ምንድነው? በቀላሉ ሊድን የሚችሉ ነገሮች ይኖራሉ ገብቷል። እና ክሮኒክ የሆኑ ነገሮች የሆኑና ጥርሱን ሞር እንዲበላና እንዲወልቅ ያደርጉታል። ያ ነገሮች ቶሎ ሕክምና ቢያገኝ ኖሮ ሊድኑ የሚችሉ ነገሮች እዚህ ላይ በቃ ተስፋ ሰጪ ሳይሆኑ ሲቀሩ ብዙ ሰዎች ሲነቀሉ አይቻለው ጥርሳቸውን። ያ ነገር ትንሽ ቻሌንጅ ነው ብዬ አስባለሁ።
This morning, we came early, and we had a lot of people lined up already. And I think since we started a little bit earlier, we were able to treat the patients as they were coming, which was perfect. And I would say we probably saw approximately maybe 60 to 70 patients already, and it's almost, say, 11 o'clock. So we're going to break for lunch at noon and then come back here and work until 5. We got the nurses, we got the physicians, we got the ER doctors, and then we got the dentists coming together and learning and teaching each other, which is fantastic. It's what it's all about. Been working really hard as soon as we got here, and we're going to keep going until the very end because we want to make sure that these people have traveled a really long time to come here and see us, get to see us. Yeah, it's done. Better put. I like to always show them, so there's proof.
No, she's not biting down all the way.
Bite, fine. Yeah. በቃ አድለቀ አየሽ፣ እነዚህ ናቸው አየሽ። ጎበዝ። No, we're good.
My name is Jessica, and I'm a dental assistant. The biggest surprise that I've noticed is, in terms of dental, is that they don't have as much decay that I was expecting. In other places, sugar is very popular, and they eat a lot of sugar. And here, it doesn't seem to be the case, so I was kind of pleasantly surprised about that.
If there's no buccal structure left, and there's only palatal, this is perfect to grab it and leverage it out. It makes things a lot easier, but the tooth was already loose. He got in there, he was elevating perfectly, so he didn't need my help. He's good. What I found really interesting, or I was impressed with the most, is the dental students. They were so much more prepared and so much more willing to learn than I expected. And you come with this mindset that I come from North America, I have a higher standard of education, and that may be true. But what they lack in resources, they make up for in how determined they are to learn. So being able to teach them new techniques and really perfecting them and guiding them with the things that I've learned was just amazing. And once I taught them how to, for example, use the physics forceps or use different types of elevators that they didn't see or have in Ethiopia, I was so impressed with how quickly they learned, how willing they were to learn, and it was amazing. There was a moment where Betty was elevating a tooth. She's like, "Elsha, I can't get this, come help me." So I went in there, took the elevator and just kind of gently rocked it in, got a nice purchase point, and at that point I was like, oh, she's got this, because I could see it, I could feel it moving. So I gave her the elevator, I said, Betty, I'm not doing this, you're doing this, you can do this. And she went in there and she elevated, and I was telling her, look, what you're doing right now is you're just going back and forth and you're not really getting much traction. Get a nice purchase point, get in there, elevate and hold that tension for a couple of seconds so you can really expand that socket. And she did it to perfection. And then she extracted the tooth, and she was so happy and proud of herself. So little moments like that with the dental students was amazing, just to see how much their confidence grew, how happy they were, how much better they were getting at extractions. Pretty much they weren't getting me or Ralph or Colin anymore. They were just going in there and getting it done. So I was really, really proud of them.
My name is Dr. Carrie Hiscock. I'm an emergency physician in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. We've been seeing some general health issues, some pneumonias and some stomach pains, and been actually helping the dentists a little bit as well, and learning some of our own things with the dentist, so it's been a pretty interesting morning for us, for sure, and very rewarding to be helping out here.
There was a situation today where I was elevating a tooth. I was luxating it, I was moving it up and down, and it was the toughest tooth. The bones were tough, it's a long-standing molar, the tuberosity is strong. You can tell that this is going to be a difficult extraction, right? So I'm doing my best, I'm elevating as much as I can. The patient is struggling, but in between me elevating, I can see the patient spitting into a cup or telling me, "Aizology, Eji Barak," and Antam Dekmual. And what that basically means is, translated, like, don't worry, my son, like, keep going. God bless your hands. I know that you're tired too. And I thought that was just so beautiful. Like, what a testament. Like, as much as he's struggling, as much as I'm pulling on his tooth, he's actually thinking about me. And I thought that was really, really, really a beautiful display. So that was my favorite part of today. We're here on day 3 today. As soon as we get here, there's usually a lineup, and as the day progresses, there's going to be more and more people. It's non-stop, go, 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 which is excellent. This is exactly what we came here to do, help as many people as we can. እና ስሜት ካለ ትነግረኛለህ፣ እሺ? ስገፋ ይሰማሃል፣ ግን ህመም ካለ ትነግረኛለህ፣ እሺ? ህመም ካለ ደግሞ እንደገና መርፌ ይሰጣል። እሺ፣ እናያለን እስቲ። አንዳንድ ጊዜ እንደሱ ይመስላል፣ ግን አዎ፣ አሁን እንደዚህ ስገፋ ህመም አለ፣ ስሜት አለ? ምንም የለም። እሺ፣ እንጀምር ታዲያ። So we have pretty much a retained root. It's been pretty broken down. And the problem with these retained roots is if you leave them in too long, they're just a pathway for bacteria to get into, and they can cause some seriously bad infections.
I'm Danielle. I'm from Calgary in Canada. I am a registered nurse there, primarily out of emergency at Foothills. This is my first time with HopEthiopia. Yesterday we had a mumps case in an adult, which of course in Canada we're all immunized against, and she was already pregnant, so that can have effects on the fetus. There's been a lot of very preventable or easily preventable illnesses that we've seen. Goiters are another huge thing, which is very preventable and easily treated just with iodine salt. And we found that iodine salt is not always something that's purchased by locals here.
3 years. 2 years. Is it itchy? Yeah. We're going to give her a cream to try. Okay? Just use it very little. Very little. This tube should last a very long time.
እሺ ስሜ ያምሮት አብዛ ይባላል። ፕሮፌሽናሊ ኤክስፐርት ፕሮፌሽናል ነርስ ነኝ። እኔ አትላስ የጤና ሳይንስ ኮሌጅ ላስት ይር ዴንታል ዶክተር ኦፍ ዴንታል ስቱደንት ተማሪ ነኝ። አሁን የምንገኘው ኢንተርናል ላይ ነው። ፌቨራይት ነገሩ በጣም ደስ የሚለው ምንድነው ማህበረሰቡን ማገልገል። ምክንያቱም ሕክምና ሊያገኝ የሚችልበት ሁኔታ አይደለም ያለው። ኢንፍራስትራክቸሩ የለም፣ ሆስፒታል የለም፣ ክሊኒክ የለም፣ ዴንታል የሚታከሙበት ምንም ፋሲሊቲ የለም እና ይሄ ነገር ተመቻችቶ በዚህን ሰዓት መጣታችንና ይህን ነገር ማድረጋችን እኛ እንደ እድለኞችም ነን ብዬ አስባለሁ። ይሄ ትልቁ ነገር ነው።
I'm Colin Wiebe. I'm a periodontist from Calgary, Alberta, Canada, and I've known Dr. Dubienski for quite a few years as his clinic refers to our clinic, and so we developed a relationship through that, and he'd invited me to come to Ethiopia back in 2017, and this is my 6th trip with Hope Ethiopia now. Dr. Elsh, Dr. Ralph and myself lectured at the Atlas Dental College, teaching dentists and dental students there. And there's a great relationship getting built with them. So this is the 2nd year of kind of working with the dental students from the college. And I find that very inspiring. And there's a hard-working group. We're really pleased with the group we have this year. We're seeing a lot of infections, a lot of decayed teeth, a lot of people in pain, people needing extensive restorative work, fancy oral surgical procedures, cases that would require sedation. And so there are a lot of limits to what we can do here, and the needs sometimes seem a bit overwhelming.
Here, 2 beds set up there, where we'll be doing all of our dental treatment extractions, taking out teeth. So in Sani and Soto, we just in 5 days, we extracted 1,004 teeth. So many patients.
So this is pretty much, so a previous dentist tried to take it out, and half of it broke, and he just left it in there. He just couldn't get it out. So now we took it out, but it took out a little bit of the tuberosity as well. So yeah, it's a tough tooth to take out, but she said she's been dealing with this pain for so long, and she's really happy. And she also said, I'm really happy that one of my own countrymen is the one treating me.
There were challenges. There wasn't much of a language barrier for me. Everybody in Addis speaks Amharic, so I was able to communicate with everybody very effectively. I think the challenges in Addis really stemmed from, people jostling to come in. When they're lining up, I'm going to be first, I'm going to be seen first. Sometimes it could be a very desperate scramble, and I found that, to be a bit tough.
Oh wow, many times. ያው ወጣልሽ ማየ ሹታ ይሻት በቃ አሁን መጥፋት ትችያለሽ። She's gonna spit. Oh, can we give her some painkillers, please? Yeah, she asked for some.
You know where they are?
They're just ምንም ችግር አሮጊት አይችልም እናመጣልሻለን። Or Jessica's gonna go some.
One woman asked me, የወታደር ልጅ ነህ? Which means like, are you the son of a soldier? Or ያንተ ቤተሰብ የወታደር ቤተሰብ ነው? Like, is your family household like a military family? And I was like, yeah, my dad was in the military. So, her asking me that, I was like, why did you ask that? Or how did you know that? And she said, ታስታውቃለህ, like, I can tell. አገርን የምትወድ ነህ, that's basically saying like you're someone who loves his country. And I thought that was like a beautiful interaction. $37.
It has a hyperplastic pulp. It's popping out. It's quite broken.
Could you get in there with a physics?
I can, but it's kind of hurting her TMG on the opposite side. Maybe I'm not gripping it properly.
Okay. Are you, like, is someone really holding
her chin? Yeah, I am. Give it a go. Just want to see what your technique would look like for this. And then, yeah, got everything. Yeah, no problem. እሱ ያልሻል እሺ መጀመሪያ እሺ እኔ አንዳንድ ጊዜ ትንሽ ፎርስ እጠቀማለሁ እሺ እንዲያምሽ አልፈልግም እሺ ደግሞ ጥርሱ በጣም ተሰባብሯል ስለዚህ
Did you try a cow horn at all or no?
No.
No. So the thing with a cow horn.
You want to try that?
Like, I don't know if you can get in on the buckle. It's not much there, but you can. It's not only that it, you're not just doing this. It's actually the way it slips in. It's pulling it out.
Oh.
And so.
So I can walk it out.
Might even loosen it a bit. Like, even if you can just get in there and squeeze.
Yeah.
Even if you're not doing any of this.
Yeah.
It lifts it up a bit.
Let's try that.
Mobility.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You want to try it or you want me to try it?
You know what? Let me try the cow horn real quick.
So you gotta push really down deep, and then you know, even if you're pinching through the bone a bit on the buckle.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you get that, then it starts to lift the tooth out, even if all you do is squeeze it.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, perfect.
And then maybe you go to the physics.
Physics?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, I'll watch it.
Let me get a cow horn if that's the case. Thank you, sir.
Yep.
Should I? Okay.
You want me to try it?
Yeah, I want to see what you can do with this because I feel like I'm just traumatizing gum right now. Here, give that to you. Let's get Colin to go and I'm going to watch this. So it's always good to have a nice learning opportunity from someone who's much more experienced. So I'm not getting a lot of buckle access here. There's not a lot of buckle. So Colin's gonna come in there and try to use one of the cow horns, get nice and deep. I don't like cow horns personally, but.
Pop 3.6 is really good.
It does, right?
Yeah. Just goes right through the vacation.
Yeah, so no, we're just breaking between the roots, but that's not the end of the world either.
All right.
If you separate the roots, then you can have
Well, then you have two things to take out, yeah.
But before we do that, let's try this thing.
Physics? Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see.
So I need a really solid chin support there. That's been giving her trouble.
It's on the opposite side of the TMJ. On the right hand side there. Oh yeah. Let's get in there. Eyes on.
There we go.
Good job, hun.
Look at those.
እንደሚያክል አየሽ ጥርስ ጎበዝ አንበሳ. Thank you, Rob. Thank you so much, Colin.
Sure.
Appreciate it. Sometimes, you got to call in a more experienced dentist. Like I said, that's the best thing about having more people on one team. Colin is a specialist. He's a periodontist. He does extractions all day, every day for implants, things like that. So for him to be able to come in and give me a hand was just amazing. He showed, like I told him, look, the buckle's completely broken down. He said, have you tried to go in with the cow horns? He went in with the cow horns. It wasn't working. He went in with the physics, and I used the physics too, but I noticed that on the opposite side, she was getting a lot of TMJ pain. So I was, didn't really understand what to do. He came in there and said, hey, stabilize her head for me. I'll do the rest. So it took a team effort kind of thing, right? And he got it out. So it's really good on trips like this to be able to work with more senior dentists because I get to pick up all these skills and things I didn't know how to do or never seen before. And that's the best part about, coming on a team like this where you're the rookie.
My experience talking to the students at Atlas University was, it was great. First of all, I'm able to speak the language, so I can relate to them better. I know Colin and Ralph lecture to them in English, and and they speak great English, but sometimes it's just better when you hear it in your own language.
So the greatest resource in your country, for me, are the 4.5 million orphan children. In those 4.5 million orphan children is the next president, prime minister, the next secretary general of the United Nations, the next Einstein, Mother Teresa, Thomas Edison, the next leaders of the next generation. They're growing up with language, technology, skills. And they're not dealing with so many of the other issues of the past. They're moving forward into current thinking of environmental, climate change, technology, business, opportunity, hope, and with that kind of mindset, they are going to be the leaders to make some big, significant changes.
I didn't have any lectures to give in terms of techniques and extractions and this and that. My lecture was purely sharing my story.
ሁሉም ነገር ለነሱ ነው። እንዴት እንደለፉ እግዚአብሔር ብቻ ነው የሚያውቀው። እና ልጄ ዶክተር ነው ማለት ለነሱ ትልቅ ነገር ነው። ካልጋሪ ውስጥ እኛ ከተማ ውስጥ እኔ ብቻ ነኝ ኢትዮጵያዊ ዶክተር እና ደስ ይለኛል። ኢትዮጵያዊ ፔሸንት ሲመጡ ቋንቋ አይችሉም፣ አንዳንድ ጊዜ ሲስተሙን አያውቁም፣ ራይታቸውን አያውቁም፣ ኢንሹራንስ እንዴት እንደሚከፍልላቸው አያውቁም። ግን በደንብ A to Z or ሀስከፐ ማስረዳት ይችላል።
Where I started, I was born and raised in a refugee camp. How did my parents get there? They left Ethiopia when they were young. It took them 23 days to make it to the border of Kenya. How did they get into Kenya? They smuggled themselves in through the back of a cow truck. When were you born? I was born a year later. Just kind of relating and telling them my story. We lived in a tent. Me, my mom, my dad, in one little tent. My mom used to cut her dresses down to make clothes for me. Okay, I'm saying these things because all you have to do is walk outside. You'll see a mom on the street sitting there with her children, and they have nothing. But that's the reality of and the level of poverty that I came out of with my parents. So just relating that story, letting them know that I came from nothing, and by the grace of God, we had the opportunity to be sponsored to Canada, moved to a country where there was abundant opportunity, took advantage of that, got into dental school, and the challenges I faced in dental school were immense. I had to be a full-time dental student and a full-time business owner in order to pay for my tuition, my living expenses, and in the end, despite all the challenges, make it out of that and become a doctor of dental surgery, put a doctor in front of my name, and just really rise to the challenges, persevere. And the main element was hope. No matter what, if you have hope and faith, you can get through the hardest times. You can get through the darkest days. Hope that at the end of the finish line that there's a better day, and faith that despite all your hardships, that this is going to work out. And another major theme that I wanted to relay to them is that spirit of Ethiopianism, Ethiopiawinet. That's what we call it in Amharic. Ethiopiawinet means Ethiopianism, and that term essentially describes the love for country that Ethiopians have, the love for their people that Ethiopians have. I was not born in Ethiopia, but Ethiopia has always been a part of who I am, my identity. It's embedded in my soul, every fiber of my being. And otherwise, I would not have come to Ethiopia 6 months after graduating to give back, to provide free dental care with my own 2 hands and say, hey, I contributed to my country.
My name is Johanna Belacho. እና ፕሮፌሽኔ ደግሞ ዴንታል ሜዲሲን ተማሪ ነኝ። I'm a last year student እና መማረው ደግሞ አትላስ ኮሌጅ ኦፍ ሄልዝ ሳይንስ። ከካናዳ ዴንቲስቶች ጋር አብሬ ስራ ኤክስፒሪየንስ ያገኘሁት ምንድነው በጣም አዳዲስ እቃዎችን አይቻል በጣም እኛ ጋር ያለላቸው እቃዎች አይተናል። ፕላስ ደግሞ ሌላ ምንድነው ደግሞ ቴክኒኮች በጣም ቴክኒኮችን እኛ ማናቃቸው ቴክኒኮች ምናምን አዳዲስ ቴክኒኮችን በጣም ተምረንበታል ማለት ነው። ፕላስ ግን በጣም ዋናው ነገር ግን ማቴሪያሎቹን እኛ መጽሐፍ ላይ ደግሞ ምናምን ላይ ብቻ በሌክቸር ብቻ የምናውቃቸውን ማቴሪያሎች ኢን ሃንድ ኢን ሪል ላይፍ ደግሞ አይተን ደግሞ ሞክረናቸውም ደግሞ ስናይ it was በጣም interesting part of it.
We've been seeing many thousands of patients in the rural areas in Sadin Sodo, in the town of Harbachalula, and we're also seeing patients here in Addis, in the Mekanisa Kosha area. So we're having a lot of fun, but it is very busy, and as you can imagine, as you see from some of the images, there are many hundreds of patients showing up. So our awareness campaign has been exceedingly successful. We just don't do dental and health campaigns. We actually have planted millions of trees from our reforestation program. We do water projects. We have drilled deep water wells. We have drilled shallow water wells and provided millions of liters of fresh drinking water to the community. Many times the water system has not been working in the local areas, so we've actually become sometimes the only source of water, of clean, fresh drinking water from our faith well as well as from our shallow water wells, and we've been successful in helping increasing the level of health and sanitation by providing fresh drinking water. So we're going to take a walk now to see some of the projects that are going on here. Because we have a tent city, this is a mobile urban surgical unit, so we are actually able to set up anywhere we want with tents. We're self-sufficient, and you can see that many people that have been here, this is midway through the day, so it's very busy here, so come take a look at what's going on. Many surgical places are set up here for surgeries and hygiene.
This gentleman here.
Let's see.
Lovely guy.
Yeah.
It was originally as a 2.7.
Yeah, okay.
It's a 2.8 here.
Okay.
Now, if you look at it, it's actually a 2.8, but if you look at that cavity.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And we're going to pull that tooth out. I'm just like, it's just an MO.
I know. But we don't have the actual equipment here to do fillings or root canals. I mean, that's our intention in the future, but there's such need for extractions. We've got to do the extractions here. We did over 1,000 extractions in Harbachalula, and we're doing hundreds here, so it's part of the job. Thanks, Elsh. Sterilization is set up here. Instruments and supplies are all set up here. And as you can imagine, to be able to do this requires many thousands of dollars of supplies, of equipment. Luckily, we have a very good supply base of equipment in Ethiopia, but we have to bring many supplies back and forth on every mission team will come here. So it does take an enormous amount of organization, but fortunately HopEthiopia does have a very good team, administrative team, of our national director, Zerhun, of our social worker and our branch office manager, Mengistu, and then our extended team of our nurses, our social workers. So we're very, very fortunate to have such an excellent team.
ስሜ ቤተልሔም መላኩ ይባላል። ፕሮፌሽኔ ዴንታል ስኩል ተማሪ ነኝ። የመጨረሻ ዓመት ተማሪ ነኝ። የምማረው አትላስ ሜዲካል ስኩል ነው። በዚህ ማስታውሰው ህፃናቶቹን በጣም አስታውሳለሁ። ኮምፓውንድ ውስጥ ያሉትን ህፃናቶች ደስ የሚሉ ልጆች ናቸው። ቋንቋ ላይ ያስተምሩን ብዙ ይጥሩ ነበረ። እንዲሁም ደግሞ the whole staff በጣም helpful ነው እና
The last day of our urban campaign we set up a pop-up tent clinic that was in the region of Addis called Koshe. And Koshe is like the city dump. And that's where all the garbage is disposed or dumped. And you know, the people that live inside that city dump, you know, are some of the most deprived people of Ethiopia. Being able to interact with people like that was eye-opening. And you know, a lot of the people there don't have access to any type of medical care, let alone dental care. A lot of them are leprosy patients. So you can, it's not active leprosy, but so you can see that they have, you know, missing fingers, defects in their face, things like that. I had a patient today where she was in there with a little child, and you know, she was an older lady, so I asked her, you know, is this your son? And she said, no, he's not my son. I found him abandoned and I raised him. And I was like, what do you mean? She was like, yeah, you know, በልጅነት ነው ያገኘሁት፣ ተጥሎ ነው ያገኘሁት፣ ሳገኘው ጡትም አያውቅም. Like he wasn't even breastfeeding. And I was like, wow, what's his name? She's like, Adenko, which means like, he is amazing, which is because she found him, you know, abandoned, and she was able to raise him. And then I was like, wow, and what's his full name? Adenko Gittinet. And for me, that was like, that hit hard, that hit me home, because my last name is Gittinet, and she could barely hold the spit cup because her fingers are missing. She could barely hold the gauze to, you know, bite down on because her fingers are missing, right? So, you know, you think you have problems, but you don't know what somebody's going through. These are probably the most neglected people in society. So being able to lay your hands on patients like that and treat them was absolutely incredible. I thought that was a really beautiful moment and a great way to end my volunteer trip here in Ethiopia.
And as you can see behind me, there's a huge lineup. There's a huge demand here. So I think this is like the first trial to see what works, what doesn't work. And I think next year we're gonna start doing this in a bigger way, probably a longer time.
Medicine doesn't know race. Medicine doesn't know ethnicity. Medicine doesn't know religion. Medicine doesn't have a political party that they are loyal to. Medicine is about humanity, you know, and as a dentist, as a dental professional, I totally adhere to that. Perseverance is key. If you're gonna fall down 7 times, you have to rise 8 times. And you have to have faith and hope. Those 2 things are key pillars to succeeding. And that Ethiopianism, or Ethiopiawinit, is a powerful thing, and that it lives in each and every one of us. We have to contribute to our country. In this country of ours, Ethiopia, it's forever. And Ethiopiawinit will never die.
አለ